Dan, welcome, beloved mighty companions. It's the marathon for Jesus. Except this time we're not running from Jesus, we're running to Jesus. We're running in the right direction. It's so beautiful because Dyra made like a little clip. I think it was maybe, can't remember, yesterday, this morning. It gets to be kind of like a blur. Where I had said, I think it was this morning, where I said, you just, here's an activity. You just run as far as you can run and then do the light check and see that the light's with you. So I was looking for little videos of running in a marathon. You know, you think you've won because, you know, you won the marathon and you're dead the whole time. I'm just saying. You know, it's running from identity. I mean, it's not good or bad. It's just that the whole idea of competition, who are you competing against? The play of consciousness. You can ask, let's ask Jesus, just do a check-in on competition. Does the light know what competition is? Is it trying to win something? That's what we're trying to compete with God. Ask on the ego's trying to set up shop. It gets to be so humbling. You just laugh. You have to laugh. Let's see, I'm going to set up my little box and I'm going to fight it out with God. With infinite light, and the light's just there the whole time while we're get a little touche, on guard, the infinite light. That's why Jesus said the world's going to end in happy laughter, because we like well, how much we like the play. That's why we have to ask him these questions. That's what I'm seeing. We have to ask him, because then it has that honesty's got to come from Jesus, because the ego is so dishonest. Oh, you know, it sends you to court on a traffic ticket so you can argue with yourself in there. Go up to the judge and argue about the traffic ticket, just so you won't look to see that there's no judge and no jury. Oh, here we go. Jesus, take us on another ride. Straight up. Little. But no use being too serious about it, really. You can ask Jesus, Jesus, is this something I really need to be serious about? You have to be attentive. That's not the same thing. You notice what's happening in consciousness so that you're not stumbling over your own, the play of no to divine light. You don't get cow-tipped because you're snoozing. All of a sudden, it's like, what happened? It's like, well, I was snoozing. You can ask Jesus, when I feel like I've just been knocked over by a truck, sleep. There's deep snoring and we don't even know it. I woke up to find I'm still asleep, and then I'm still asleep and still asleep. It's almost like levels of dreaming. You see how much these movies are capturing it, like Inception. Levels of dreaming. You can have like about 8 levels of dream just while you're sitting in your chair and just watch, just observe what happens. You're sitting in a chair, so then there's the dream of the chair. Then you'll start, and then somebody will start baking apple pie and you'll be at your grandmother's house. It's true. And then, you know, you just see the play. And then all of a sudden you hear a scream outside or something. And then you thinking about your brother beating you up when you were little. Do you see how they just, it's a memory generator. It was so great in Emissary, Deep Space Nine. I think it's the first episode, you know, where Cisco is in there and these light beings was trying to teach him, but he wasn't really listening. He kept saying to them, why are you taking me here? And they're going, we're not taking you here. You're taking us here, back to where his wife supposedly was killed. And they kept saying, you live here. You live in this memory, which is really death. That's a wicked good episode, by the way, on linear collapse of linear time. There's like so many good ones in there. And speaking of time, we're looking at time with Jesus. We started yesterday in chapter 16, acceptance of light. That's really what it is. You can ask them, Jesus, is all spiritual awakening, is that just accepting that light is all there is? Is he, and then does he give you a lot of extra? Let me tell you about the rest of your assignments. Just accept light. It's the, you know, as we've talked about before, needing that tome of A Course in Miracles to show us all the ways that we deny light. See, light doesn't need to write a book. It just is. But when consciousness plays in complexity to try to disguise recognition of light and to insist to God that the light's not here, like we talked about that little fish this morning swimming in the ocean going, swims up to a friend. Do you know where their water is? I'm looking for water. Can you have, but then this friend's trying to tell him you're in it. You've already, you can't live without water. But I don't know what water is. I want to know what water is. Can you explain it to me? You're in it. That's all Jesus is trying to say. Can you explain love to me? You're in it. You it. See that the light's here always. And then the little play, and then we just get really observant, kind of noticing how we duke it out. And then Jesus tells us, yes, you are duking it out. Jesus, am I trying to duke it out with the light? He said, beware of the desire to do battle with the Holy Spirit. So we like to do battle with Jesus. That's the battle within, a symbol of the battle within ourselves. Jesus doesn't battle. Look again at Jesus and see if he's stepping into a battle with you. Even when you're going, oh no, Jesus, I'm not talking to you, or however that plays. I don't want to see, I'm resisting. I have so much resistance. Even a resistance, that's a fish swimming in the water. I'm resisting water. See, I'm going to resist water today. No matter what, I'm not going to be in water. That's exactly what we're doing. Jesus, I don't care, God. I don't care. I'm not being in water no matter what. That's the little fish saying that. He's going around to all the fish in the ocean telling them why they're not in water. That's about the same thing we're trying to do. You can ask Jesus. Am I just going around from fish to fish, trying to talk all the fish and say, convince myself that I'm not in love itself? That's the play. So Jesus says, you believe in time, yet you never question what is time. What is time? You can ask Jesus, what is time? Do I know what that is really, or is that just an idea? Does time exist in infinite light? Jesus, do I want the experience of time more than I want the timeless? Because the timeless is here. You can see in the light of divine being, it's timeless. So the only way to experience time is to desire the experience of it. You can ask Jesus. So do I actually have to want time for it to seem to be real? A body is time. The belief that a body's real is time. You can ask Jesus. Is the belief in the body time? So you have to transcend the idea of a body. That's what ego doesn't want to do. It wants to keep bodies. I think I've told that kind of hilarious story where I could see that, you know, I could agree that I wasn't a person, you know, that there was no person here, but I certainly didn't want not those bodies over there not to be real. That would be, oh, it's like, oh.
Yeah.
And it just gets to be more playful, you know, but the ego's going to play, oh, that's going to be horrible. You think of, oh, you mean my mother? My dog's not real? Ask Jesus. Is my dog real?
Nope.
Now, and then, but then it kind of dawns. It's like, wait a minute. If it's all coming and I'm manufacturing all, that means the miscreation of a dream. And the world being manufactured out of nothingness and remaining as nothingness, even as a dream, that takes some serious power going, and effortlessly. There's no effort in the miscreation of the images. The effort is in denying the miscreation. I didn't do it. And trying to play in form like we're trying to find out who did it, and that who did it is anyone else. So it's the who done it. I love that. It's so great when every time you watch a movie, you just, oh, who done it? We're going to have a mystery to see who done it. Rather than just going, okay, the buck stops here. See, the play would be over. What is time? Is this known or is it an idea? You believe in death, yet you do not question what is death. So let's just ask. That's how Ramana Maharshi woke up. All he did, he was about 16 years old. And I think it was an uncle who died or something. And he thought, this is curiosity, Mimsy on the beach, little Mimsy, curious. He lay down and kind of checked it out. What died? And it was like, pff, wait, nothing dies. That's all it is. It is a mission that nothing dies. That's a start. It's a start when you see that nothing dies. That the light, it's like get to know the light. I said, Jesus says, yes, get to know the light itself, because we're so used to the play of the consciousness in objects and wanting and attraction and repulsion. To see, it's easy to see lights here because it's what's most natural. Just get to know that. It's like Muji's invitation. That's a helpful little thing. His little invitation to freedom. You can find that video on YouTube. Just listen to it and you ask questions. You'll discover that there's something here that's infinite. And it's not an object. And that it never dies. That's the holy instant, that recognition. The speed up that Jesus offers, and that's a way you can marinate as light. It's just that he is offering his assistance then to find all those little denials below the level of awareness. So that's the speed for the dissolution through forgiveness and the miracle of the idea of the no. So it's not a big surprise like you see in satsang. Like, it was so fine. It was so wonderful. What happened? The desire to say no to infinite light is a desired experience. There's vestiges, little remnants of the no that haven't been seen through. You'll see that in there's not a spiritual tradition that escapes from the clearing of asanas, latent tendencies, that those are just the no's to divine light. It's just the confusion on the way to actually clear those subconscious desires out. And Jesus is making it perfectly clear, you know, with the clarity that's, look with me at the denials. I'll show you where everyone is. Every one of them is. So a direct path to choiceless awareness, to light, to being in this world and not of this world. Because whatever arises in consciousness does not outlast you. You can check it out and see. In the divine light of being, does this play outlast me? That is encouraging, you know, because as long as you're in the play, or consciousness plays like it seems like I will never wake up. The feeling will be despair, anxiety, depression, but see that every one of those with Jesus, you can see that they're a desired experience. And admitting them is acceptance of power, of a divinity. And that's what the gift he's giving us. Spend time in no time, as no time. See that no time is identity. You can ask Jesus, is timeless identity. Happiness, to be without time is identity. Identity doesn't even know what time is. It's a concept, just like a body's a concept. Jesus is a body, a concept. Is death a concept? That's a happy day when that's seen through. It's just the beginning though. Because the ego will pretend like death is just of a body when it's a continual experience of trying to have death to the recognition of light. but it's helpful. It's kind of like a relaxation once it's recognized, wait a minute, there's no death. It's impossible to die, but everyone can see it because the light's here and it transcends time, space, and death. There's something here, infinite being. Yet, even though it's recognized that there's no body death, consciousness loves to play. And it likes to be guilty for its sins, to keep the play going and not look deeply. We were having a talk the other night. I was talking about how, you know, when you start working with Jesus and he's leading you and everyone's having these experiences. And if you're not sure that you are, just make sure you just keep joining. You will. It's inevitable. Everyone who comes here speaks Jesus, the Jesus language, and has Jesus talking to them all the time. So he was leading me through various things to look at, and somehow the topic of breathing came up. And it was just known. It was like, oh, there's guilt in breathing in there. See, because it's part of the body, the guilt for making a body. And it was like, you know, after a while, you know, and just looked at him down the rabbit hole. All the desire for guilt over breathing. You can ask him, Jesus, do I feel any guilt for breathing? Do I desire an experience of guilt for breathing? Because it's part of that play. Something's wrong. I did something terrible. I made a body. When he actually showed it, it was like, you find that it gets harder and harder for the experience here for me to argue with Jesus. And you don't want to really, because you see that's just an argument against yourself. You desire endings and beginnings. Jesus, is there any desire to experience beginnings and endings? And you'll see the play in consciousness with that. It likes to play, I can't wait till it's over. It's sort of like the game, you know, when you would be driving. Now we had 7 kids piled in the back. This was before seatbelts, and everyone was rolling around the back of all 7 kids were like piled into a station wagon. We're like rolling around like marbles back there. And you know, and you know, he got playing very well in that environment, because then it was like, wait a minute, don't cross over my space, you know, that game. Which continues on, and you know, but you start asking your parents, when are we going to get there? And when ego consciousness loves that game. You know, are we there yet? Just to deny that we're already home. The permutations of possible arguments with yourself with 7 kids. Are we there yet? Jesus, do I desire experiencing beginnings and endings? Oh, I can hear it. Yeah. And you can see it like you go on vacation, beginning, ending, weekend, beginning, ending, days, cycles, beginning and ending. See that? You know, that's how the thought-based consciousness carves up time, my time and God's time. God gets 1 hour on Sunday, you know, school time. Oh, I'm free. I'm out of school. Can you see that play? Oh, as soon as I'm finished with this, I'll be free. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. It could be doing your taxes. And what I see Jesus teaching here is to see it's all the same. You know, that little play of preferences. I like doing X more than X. As soon as you're in that play, it can be playful that you like it and you like ice cream and this sort of thing. But as soon as that time owns you, as soon as you're looking for an end to something or a beginning, I can't wait to go to grandma's house. Just see what the light's waiting for. You see how that creates a future in perception. Wait a minute, you're going to take grandma's house? You know, that's how the ego goes. Are you going to take grandma's house from me? No, Jesus is just saying, look, to see how anticipation, a feeling of anticipation creates the illusion of time. And you'll see as forgiveness clears that you don't really, you can't find that as experience anticipation, because joy doesn't, it just is. You know how that little play of, I can't wait till this over. I remember that too. I'd be doing something in community, sweeping the floor. I can't wait till this is over. I can't wait to making lunches over. I can't wait for the dishes to be over. Can you see that play? I can't wait to finish scrubbing this toilet that someone made me scrub, whatever it is. You see, it's feeding the perception of time with beginning and endings rather than the being as is, which is timeless, untouched by time and space. You love these experiences. When he says love, you know, relish, because it's not the Father's love. It's the death. It's trying to hang on to with the bony fingers as he talks to the untrue. It's relishing them. It's valuing them. He used the word love, but not the kind of love, because it's the idea of love of an ego. The ego loves things, but it's not the big love. You love these experiences more than being as you are already, total love with a capital L. You can ask him, Jesus, do I relish beginnings and endings more than infinite love? When he says yes, just admit it. You're right. See, just okay, you're right. Nothing to be, no wet noodles coming out. He just says, see it with me. That's all. Just see that contraction that comes from that. And how consciousness really feeds on these future things and past things when it's really death. You want to love and hate experiences, make experience and then hate it to deny that you made it. This was so great because Julie and I joined today and we're talking about that. Yeah, it's like this. She was asking me about this, looking at things with Jesus and how well these things get disguised. That's what you start seeing unless you really ask them. So you can't hide. It can't hide in there. It's like when he shows you something, you just ask him, do I really want this? I mean, really? So he can tell you yes, because it's like we hit it so well. We'll be going like, I just can't believe that. That just doesn't seem right. Why would I give up my identity? We really need him to tell us, you relish this. Jesus, do I relish this? And have him say yes for us. Otherwise, it's going to stay hidden. You can ask him. Do I need you to show me where I'm relishing time? Until you're so certain there's no other way than his way of finding the places where time is relished. And that's the play. You want to relish it and deny that we relish it and be upset about it and really mad. It's hilarious if you start seeing, when you start seeing the play. Because the ego just says, okay, there's something out there and it's making me mad. No, consciousness is creating the experience for the experience of being mad. Because it wants that experience. It's a desired experience to have a dream of being mad. The wheel of samsara, suffer more and blame God, yet you want this experience. Let's just ask them, Jesus, am I really liking that wheel of samsara? The wheel of suffering. Maya, do I really like Maya, the illusion? It's humbling when he says yes. And his point, he's saying to me now, which is, I'm just trying to show you're innocent for it. Like, just look directly to see that you're innocent. The light's not going to strike you with lightning or something. That's the play of consciousness. That you're innocent. To be a victim and then to be victimizer in endless cycles, a vast wasteland of repeating cycles of denying true identity. He's talking, he's saying, victims and victimizers are one. There's only one, but they're kind of simultaneous. And it tricks it out. Looks like it's happening on a timeline. It was helpful. I'm asking, it was helpful to talk about when he was starting to show me past lives. You don't need to see it because it's all simultaneous anyway, but it was helpful here because I could see the cycles. They're happening throughout your life now. If you really look, you can see them. But for me, that was really helpful because you show me over Pompeii, ta-da, you know, you know, and then the next minute in a dungeon somewhere. And then I think I talked about being a train robber where he was showing me how much I just love jumping trains. And, you know, it was exciting, that play. And, you know, oh my gosh, all these little plays in the dreaming. Enjoying being hung by the neck. It can only happen because we desire it as a play. That was humbling. I could feel it. It's like, oh yeah, I did like that. Very humbling. It was helpful because you see the cycles again, thrown in the 15th century in a dungeon, being put in a dungeon. I think my dad was my jailer. You know, it's just a play. Again, there's just ask in the light of divine being, does reincarnation exist? It's all the same. But for that, at that time, it was really helpful to a way of just, because it's no different from the movies running on the screen that we watch every day. Or, you know, as we're given movies to watch. You start seeing it's all a big movie. You just ask them, Jesus, are the movies I watch on TV any different from all the movies that this big giant 3-dimensional movie? Are the movies that I'm running in my dreams at night, is that different from the movies during the day? And hear him say, it's all a play in consciousness, playing movies. To be a victim and to be a victimizer. So let's just ask them, Jesus, do I have a desire to play a victim? Do I have a desire to play a victimizer? Will you help me see through that desired experience? Again, because as long as that's there, running under, ramshod under the awareness, then it's a constant experience. It only seems to come and go, but really we're, again, like a cat splayed out going, trying to hold on for dear life, waiting for the next shoe to fall, because it's a desired experience that the next shoe would fall. To be a victim and a victimizer in endless cycles, a vast wasteland of repeating cycles of denying true identity. Jesus, are these cycles being chosen to deny true identity? I know there can be a lot of yeses, but just see that no matter how many yeses you would say when he's showing you that you're denying it, as many times as I think when I went through chapter 20 that I said, and there'll be lots more, it won't outlast infinite light. So just see that the desires may play as energetics, but they do not outlast light. So you know there's an end to them. That's the happy news. All experience to deny peace is already here. These are all experiences that the peace is always available. All experience to swear that God has stolen eternal life from you and leaves you damned. Let's just ask and see, Jesus, are these all desired experiences so I can feel that God has stolen eternal life from me and I can leave me damned? You start to see it, but we can see it now. See, it was hidden before. Now it's like kind of hard to get away from that. Determined to protect the darkest and deepest corners of your mind, knowing it cannot bring you happiness. Well, let's ask. Well, like I said, going through this line by line with them, humble pie, but happy humble. Jesus, am I holding on to things and protecting the deepest and darkest corners of my mind, even though I know it can't bring me happiness?
Yes.
That's honesty of God when we say yes. At least we can be aware that we're protecting something from the light of truth, and that we need him to help us get in there to bring them up. Turn on that little metal detector and go down the beach with Jesus. Here they are. What miracles? Down the beach, but then it'll be fast. I said, and this is what's most merciful. He said, yes. This is what mercy, real mercy is. The only real mercy, I'm asking him, yes, is to cease to deny divinity. That's the only mercy there is. You know, have mercy on your brother, have mercy on yourself, and cease to deny that you're divine. That's mercy. That's merciful. Anything that other than that is totally unmerciful. I'm asking Jesus. That's what he says. I agree. I can tell. Yes. Now we're learning what true honesty is and what real mercy is. Because you know that you cannot die. He knows, we know we can't die. That's how come consciousness plays like it plays. Full out hell, because we know we can't, nothing's going to happen. But it doesn't make it feel good because the dream is not natural. This is not natural. Ask Jesus, is this natural to us? This victimizer thought? Is it natural to light? Is it natural to suppress all these hidden desires? The light doesn't know what those are. It's got to hurt. We can thank the hurt because the hurt lets us know where we're dabbling in death. Yet you suffer, complain, and toil, resentful for what you have made. So look at the game. Let's make a game where we're going to have to work for a living. We're going to have to fight off evil ones. We're going to have to fight our brother. We make all the characters so we can fight him. And then we're going to complain to God about it. Ask Jesus, is that what's happening? That's humbling. A more humble pie. Happy, humble pie. It's a very happy pie. Beloved, there is only all in. For what you withhold from the light of truth, you only withhold from yourself. You can ask him, Jesus, is there only all in or all in? The fish is already in the water. See? And it can be really a great image to hold in your mind. Next time you feel resistance, just check in and see if the light's there while you're resisting. I feel a lot of resistance. It's like the fish telling the water, you know, I feel a lot of resistance to water. Ask Jesus is not any different. It's funny, but it still will play. It'll play like that, but now we know what resistance is, and we can jump a join with a brother. So jump those joins. Jump joins. You see, it's giving of yourself in wholeness, those joinings. You can ask Jesus and hear him. It's honoring yourself and your brother. It's a beautiful gift to ourselves. Like, it's not for your brother, it's for us, for me, like when I join. Because, well, and Jesus, because I know he knows what's most helpful. And then that allows him, and we do have to allow him to arrange time and space for us. And that's part of the time and space rearrangement. Who you join with, how the joining goes with the joining worksheet. He's just laying it out like, and they're climbing the stairway to heaven. That's what he's given us step-by-step directions here. You are the kingdom of heaven unless you deny that you are. Am I the kingdom of heaven? Beyond it. You can ask, am I beyond the kingdom of heaven? And hear the yes. That's pretty powerful. I have offered a means to quickly see that you have all the power granted to you by heaven to drop the chains and take your rightful place. Yet you must not hold back, because if you do, you are agreeing that you are weak and that what you have created can harm you. You are agreeing with your own delusions. So will be directly clear. When we don't follow the Holy Spirit, we are agreeing that delusions are real. Ask Jesus, Jesus, when I'm not following you, does that mean I'm agreeing that delusions are real? So what we're really saying when we don't follow him is, I want to still play in the game of suffering because I believe it's salvation. That's why we do it, because it's flipped. It's so helpful. You can ask him when you're working with him. And Julie was doing that today. Jesus showed her the flip. He's showing us both the flip. It's for all of us. How the flip was in the mind. He was teaching about control, the desire. See, desires are like little pears. The desire to be in control and feel out of control at the same time. And that's why you get to feel ripped. That's the little present that comes with that desire. Feeling ripped. But you can just look at it with him direct and show me how, okay, Jesus, show me how this desire for control is flipped and can't even happen in light. How I believe there is salvation in this desire for control. How I'm creating hell for myself with that desire experience, desire to usurp the power of God. That's the power we have as divine beings. Honesty of God, to be together in honesty of God. What? It's not anything. No, I'm asking Jesus, there's not a single thing of greater value to be together in honesty of God. Not for here, to be with mighties. Amen. All love from San Juan Costala in Mexico.
Yeah.